I bet there's something you can relate to here. And for me, I am desperately trying to hang on to the past. So I'm gonna put on my hair doing sweater, which will make sense in like 2 seconds. And as I do it, I'm going to do my hair because I really want to have this conversation with you guys. And also, people keep asking me how I do my hair. So I thought, you know what? Now is a good time to do both. So let's chat about what the heck is going on. So, you know, one thing about curly hair, I'll tell you, you might not. If you have curly hair, you know this, but I full on feel like I spent about 4 decades fighting against my hair and hating it. And people forever would be like, oh, I love your hair. And I'd be like, I hate it. But now I'm like, I like it now after years and years and years. So we're going to talk about why this is a hard and challenging time. We are also going to talk about life stressors. We are going to talk about instincts, which are really playing a big role for me, and I bet play a big role for you, especially if you struggle to declutter sentimental things. And I'm going to talk to you about how I am tackling this issue because, believe it or not, like I full on feel you for a lot of the things that people say with regards to not wanting to let go. So I'll start and just tell you, this has been a really hard time for me. I have 3 boys and they are 13, 15, and 17. They're all about to move up a year, which means my oldest is turning 18. And he's graduating from high school. And we're very proud of him. He's done really well. And he is actually going away to university. He's not going far, thank God, but it is far enough away where I'm going to worry about him. With regards to that, so I did use this. This is Nutriplenish. It's a leave-in conditioner, and it does help protect your hair, especially when you blow dry it. And now I am putting in this Verb curl foaming gel. I love this stuff. There's another lady with curly hair. Her channel is called Mains by Mel, and her and Verb and her sister, I think they all kind of developed this product. So anyway, I put 4 pumps in this side. And if you have straight hair, or if you're just like, that is way too much trouble, 4 decades, I hated my hair, and I like it now. In fact, I just had it in French braids because I just had it done. My hairdresser, she actually does my hair in French braids because I've never, ever liked how they have done my hair after. Only because they just don't know how. Like, everybody's hair is so individual, which is why I'm showing you this, because so many people ask me how. So that is why I am doing my hair while we are chatting. Anyway, with regards to my son, like, he has grown up, just about. And I mean, like every mom, I'm going to have like worries about him going away to move and go to university and stuff. But like, to be honest, it's during the day, like, kids outgrow you. Like, they outgrow you. And they are not hard to be around. Like, he's easy to be around, but like, he's moved on. Like, he has moved on. So he is ready, which is wonderful. Like, he's got ants in his pants, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't know if the other 2 will be like that, but he is, and that's great. It's hard. Like, during the day, so my point is that during the day, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this kid, he's a little messy, and he's moving good. That's what I think, right? But then the rest of the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I am so worried. And so it's things like that where you start, like, I'm going to tell you right now would not be a good time for me to declutter baby or kid stuff, because I am feeling that little bit of emotion. And that is something you should keep in mind. Like, say one of your parents just passed away or something, it wouldn't be a good time to tackle that stuff. And same with the end of the school year. Oh my, this is a Denman Brush. But anyway, end of school year, oh my gosh. And actually, like, we have family friends, and their son, when he was 12, we were at a birthday party for my son, and she said, oh my gosh, I only have 5 more summers with him. And I get that, it chokes me up every time when I think about that, because it's like, I never ever in my life had thought, oh, you only have like so many summers or Christmases with your kids. It's so weird. Like, why didn't I think that? I just didn't. So anyway, I was just like, wow, yeah. My son was turning 8, right? My oldest. Well, then her son graduated 5 years later, and I was crying. My son was then, I guess, about 13, and I remember just being like, oh my gosh, like, this actually happened. And like, obviously, right? And so here we are. Like, he went through all of his summers. And then as a parent, you start thinking, oh, like, what should I have done? Like, did we not do enough? Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not a big beach person, even though we live on an island. Like, we would take them places and do things, but did we do it enough, right? Like, that sort of thing. It just makes me feel sad. So anyway, it's like nighttime when I think about that stuff, like when I'm laying in bed. And so, like, the end of the school year is always a bit challenging. And my one friend, she's like, oh, it's back to school. And I'm like, oh no. By then I'm like, oh, off you go, back you go. So anyway, yeah. And so there's that. Can't sleep at night. And then, you know, like, with regards to my son, I think, like, you know, there's my grandparents. Like, they had this house for, gosh, they had this house since I was 13, and they moved out. I was 41. So it was like 2 years ago. And, or, yeah, whatever. And that was a lot, too. So I'm trying to do kind of bigger chunks as I twirl. And again, I don't always. Sometimes I just do sections and just pull it out, and I try to keep it kind of tight. And then you want like these chunks, okay? Chunks are good. Little, no, not good. Anyway, so as I go on here, so my grandparents' house, that was hard. Like, it's like all of a sudden, like, you just are like living life, and then all of a sudden stuff happens and you're like, oh my gosh, like, oh, this isn't going to be forever? Oh, my grandparents aren't going to live here forever? I didn't think they'd ever move. Like, I mean, I knew they weren't going to live forever, but I didn't think they'd move. So that was upsetting, to be honest. And then there was all the stuff. And as a minimalist, I am like looking at this stuff, and I'm like more and more convicted in like my path of minimalism. And, you know, my father, he passed away a year and a bit ago. Well, that was unexpected, like big time unexpected. In my opinion, he died because of an mistake that the people at the hospital made. And I can say that because I'm a nurse and I know a little bit about this. Although I will tell you, I don't think that he would have exactly had a great life had he survived. Hopefully my hair is not being too loud on this microphone. Oh my gosh, it probably is. I'm gonna move it. I don't know where to move it. There's a point to all of this with regards to belongings as well. Believe me. Believe me. So anyway, and like my mom, like God bless her. I love her so much. She's absolutely wonderful, just wonderful. But I would like for her to take better care of herself. But, you know, you can only say that so much to a person. But I think, like, here's the thing. Here's why I do what I do on this channel. I want you to enjoy being at home. I want you to enjoy your life more. 100%. But number one, as a nurse, I've seen people's lives end early. I've also seen people who clearly were not caring for themselves the way they should have. And I've seen people who are unhappy. And I get that there are many things that can cause that. But I want to see people who are doing, I don't want to say doing their best because, you know, you could say everybody's doing their best, but to really take a step back and be like, oh gosh, like we're not going to live forever. Like my dad died suddenly, you know, left a bunch of stuff behind. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was enough. Like I wonder what he would have done differently. And so I want to help people to understand that you can do something about it. So anyway, it's a hard time. I also am like starting to enter perimenopause, which is like fine. But at the same time, it's just another one of those things where you're like, oh, so this is going to happen. Well, how about that? I wasn't expecting that, even though I should have, but I wasn't. So what are you going to do? And so it's just like all of these things. And I bet every single person here watching can be like, oh, so that did happen. Oh, I did start getting gray hairs, which was a while ago. But, you know, like, oh, like my parents did die. Oh, like we moved or whatever. And so all of these things, they start to hit us. And the thing is, like when changes start happening and like what is our first instinct? It is to hold on to the past. And I'm telling you, like I desperately want to hold on to the past. But I will tell you something. First of all, this child who is leaving is almost 18 and he is an adult, just about. Like he doesn't need me. And so what am I holding on to? I'm not holding on to him as a 17-year-old. I'm holding on to him as like a 10-year-old or whatever, or a little baby. But that's done. That's over. And it's the same for you in your life. Certain things are done. They're over. And you know, you could keep bins of baby clothes in every child photo or every child drawing. But what is that going to get you? Like a bunch of stuff because you're holding on to the past. And that's just the thing. Like and then what is the result? What is the result when all we do is hold on to that? I am like completely lost here about where I am. Did I do this part? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so what is the result if you just hold on to the past? You're not living in the present. You're not making room for the future. So I will keep his first little shoes. And I will keep a few little things. But I'm not going to keep a lot. Because that time is done. And what is the result of holding on? Like, how will I live the rest of my life if I were to do that? Well, you know what? That would be a choice. Look at that. Boy, that's some loose skin right there. That's probably part of aging. So again, we want to keep it really moist. Anyway. So we have a choice. Either we keep the past and we keep a bunch of things that represent the past, or we let it go and we just keep a little bit. And you know what? That's good because, and even if you're older than me, do you want to only focus on the past? I bet you don't. Now, the top is important because I always, okay, that wasn't wide enough. Now there is a camera in front of me and I am looking at it for a lot of this, but I really need the mirror for this part. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about the sniffing. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch this to edit it because I really hate seeing myself cry. It just annoys me. Which is probably not good. It's good to be in the bathroom where there are tissues. Anyway. So do we want to focus on the past? And here's the thing. Like for me, I always say, like, I'm such a seasonal person. Like the music I listen to. Now, I don't know if a lot of people will listen to this, but in the summer, I love listening to tons of New Order and the band Tool. I love them. Summer bands. And then The Cure is for the fall. Well, I'll tell you what, listening to Tool was from when I was turning 18. So am I living in the past? I try not to be. And I also try to be like, no, I was bullied as a kid and a teenager. I didn't exactly, like there's nostalgia is a funny thing. It's a toxic impulse, John Hodgman says. And so often we're like remembering things from the past. And it's like, that is the whole point of life, is to get to the end. And, like I said, I'm a nurse and I've had patients that say to me, never get old. And I mean, I get it. They're there usually for the reason that they were old. But I'm like, gosh, I hope I do get old. And that's the thing. So do I want to go through the rest of my life being, feeling bad and living in the past? Or do I want to enjoy the present and enjoy the future? This is the last part. This is called, the last product. This is called Aussie. It is Headstrong Gel. This is the cheapest of the products for sure. Now, all of my products last for a while because I only do my hair like every other day, maybe every 3 days. So I only do like a dime or a pea-sized amount. And then I flip my head over. You can't really see. And then I go like this. And I just scrunch it in. And the reason I put it in last is because it does seem to be heavy if I don't. And now I'm going to do something. I'm going to turn this so you can see. And I'm going to plop my hair. Okay, if you're from Texas or the South, then you'll recognize this. My aunt lives in Texas and gave this to my husband. And so he wears it, but I also use it for this. So I just flip my hair over and I put it here. There we go. And then I just tie it for, and honestly, like I will just sit like this for just a minute or two or like 10 minutes. There's like a thread on my face. Thread in my eye is going to drive me crazy. Okay, so what do I want for the future? I don't want to live in the past. And this is why I do what I do. Because as a nurse, I want to see people living their lives to the fullest because I have been traumatized by lives ending early. The other thing is I like to dive into the actual reason why we keep this stuff. And a lot of the reasons are things like this. It's really hard to let go of your kids' stuff and really hard to do things. So what I'm saying is like, no, I wouldn't necessarily declutter my son's stuff right now. Like that would be silly. But I certainly could in a few months, like when I'm like, hey, this is great. And after my last child goes, like my husband and I really, really, really want to travel one day. And we want to move to a house that's not so shady at the side of the mountain, yet we're near the school, and so there's a lot of things that are good about the future coming. Like the whole point of us living is that we actually like move on in the future and, enjoy every stage of life. Like that's what we're supposed to do. And I feel like so often, especially women and us mothers, like we get so attached to our kids, which is wonderful. Like that's what we're designed to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, like they're gone. And so we need to make the choice to say, okay, I am going to feel the feelings. And this is the thing, feel the feelings for whatever it is you're going through. Feel the feelings for when you're decluttering. If you come across something very sentimental, like something from like one of your parents who passed away, or finding anything, right? Like stuff from your kids, whatever. Like, of course I'm going to focus on kids right now because that's like the major thing on the top of my mind. But like, there are a lot of things going on in life that are hard. Every year, I'm telling you, like May, June, it just like kicks me. But there is freedom in letting go. There is freedom in letting go. There is freedom in letting go of the stuff. There is freedom in letting go of the kids. That's what's meant to happen. They're not meant to stay home with us forever, right? Like that, what kind of life would that be? So I'm gonna dry my hair. One of my biggest things I want people to consider is to choose their life over their stuff. Oh yeah. And this is the shampoo I use. It's called Sap Moss from Aveda. And I know it's a little pricey, but this is 4 decades of research. And then Weightless Hydration Sap Moss Conditioner. Please share your wisdom down below. I'm so honored and grateful that you joined me today. And I hope something good happens to you today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I will scrunch it out when it's fully dry in like an hour.